Indigo, how y'all doing today? We're gonna get some great energy going again with the Popup podcast experience, all right, where we talk exclusively about ownership and not to mention entrepreneurship at its height. You know, ownership is entrepreneurship in my opinion, and I do that through 4 categories, which is going to be paperwork, investment, group economics, and time management. I got my best friend with me once again today from the Bay Area, Rich Tycoon. You know what I'm saying?
One more time.
Well, Tycoon. You know, I had to say that, emphasize it. I love having my brother come on with me, you know. But today we're going to talk about paperwork. Hit him in the gut. Let him know about your LLC or what type of paperwork do you have and what influenced you, brother?
Well, like I say, with the influences, it was really just the state of the game. No matter what you're doing, you hear a lot of stories and conversation about people being done wrong in the music business and any business, especially even the street business, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, of course, in the streets, you don't necessarily have paperwork, but you do have your word. But moving forward to real business, you have to protect yourself through ownership, partially. You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to protect yourself where it might not really apply to ownership, but it applies to your, getting your piece of whatever pie is out there. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, those things, it became important to me because I kind of feel like I had talent, and at any point, if that talent was to create some type of finances or economy, then I wanted to be able to benefit from that, as opposed to being used and abused and being hella broke while the people that put it out was hella prosperous.
Yeah.
So
and that makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Let everybody know what kind of paperwork you got for your business. You know, AO is a business out here, so go shop AO at rich.coon.biz.
Check it out. Well, as far as paperwork and different things, of course, kind of like, you got your business structure as far as your paperwork there, and then you have different products or SKUs that you might have that you need to get paperwork. So, one of the things might be even say like the all original trademark. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I do actually own. It's not just on a shirt or a sweatshirt. And so, and again, that was through lessons you learn from maybe not doing it right or seeing other people not doing it right. And the main thing, really wanting to protect the right things. You feel me? That you really, really need to protect. So, yeah, it takes some money to do that. But I'm going to tell you, if you really, my whole thing is if you really, really believe that what you're doing is going to become successful, then you would want to protect it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that speaks to your confidence in what you're doing. The more that the more that you do protect whatever you're putting out there, whether that's copywriting songs, whether that's, like we were just talking about your business structure, whether that be a LLC, whether it be a corporation, or whether it just be a sole proprietorship. Also things like, basically, dang, I hadn't done it in so long that I kind of forgot. Your fictitious business name statement. Like I say, I started my businesses a while ago, and so it's been so long, it's been a while since I even helped somebody do it. But the main thing is that, you have your business license, but you also have this process that you have to go through to establish your name as a business. And so you have to go and place an ad in another publication that basically makes an announcement to the public that you're doing business under this name. You know what I mean? And so that's another part of that process. And so, yeah, there's a lot of the business that needs to be done. And yeah, if you believe in yourself, I definitely suggest that you do as much of it as you can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get that paperwork, man. So just to clear it up for everybody, what type of paperwork do you have now? Is it LLCs or sole proprietorship? Is it
well, as far as with my record label, I have a few different businesses. With my record label, it started as a partnership. And what happened is I bought my partner out. And and so it became a sole proprietorship. And so the way I understand things like LLCs and different things, whether it's a corporation, this, that, or the other, and I definitely know what you're getting at in the sense of totally protecting yourself. But one of the things a lot of people don't speak about in business is that if you haven't built something to protect, then that's actually the value of what you're trying to protect. And so why spend 25 grand protecting $500 worth of business? You know what I'm saying? And so in the beginning, a lot of people tend to take shortcuts or whatever. But my point is that I think as far as my record label, I hadn't reached the process of LLC. So it is still a sole proprietorship. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it actually started as the partnership, and I brought it back at the time to just a sole proprietorship.
I like that. Yeah. So AO is a sole proprietorship. But that doesn't mean you won't partner in the future with people.
No, definitely. Like I say, even with the LLC, that's a matter of protecting yourself from lawsuits and things of that nature. And so in reality, a lot of stuff comes back to figures. From what I know, it's different in different places, but from what I know. And so I guess a better example is like, if I were to get sued and somebody, you have, the bottom line is there is small claims court as well as, I don't know what they would call it, but in criminal, we call it superior court, but the upper courts, you feel me? And so, and the money that somebody is actually trying to pursue you for, or you're pursuing them for, dictates that, where you're trying to pursue that claim at. And so going back to the LLC, so with an LLC, the way I kind of understand it, if you're not functioning with a business that's worth, I think, where people, from what I've heard, maybe about 25, maybe 35 grand. If your business is not worth 25 or 35 grand, including equipment that you can liquidate, then, a LLC is something that's not necessarily mandatory. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, once you start to achieve those levels of, your business is worth this amount, then it's just like insurance. You're not going to pay, you know what I'm saying?
The premium. And that makes so much sense, though. Because I have an LLC. I wouldn't get an LLC because I knew it was the cheaper route at the time. And I knew for a fact that I had to protect my intellectual property. That's a word that needs to be in everybody's repertoire. Intellectual property, your thoughts and all your ideas, your goals, stuff like that. But I definitely got I'm going to get a series LLC because under my first LLC, I just started so many other businesses, and I didn't know that I needed to protect each and every one separately. So that's what I'm starting to do now. My next step in my process is going to be getting a series LLC, just because I have so many businesses to protect. And I plan on adding one more with real estate. Got to get that real estate in there, So make sure you're out there also having multiple streams of income. You can definitely have them under one LLC. But once it gets to protecting rights, intellectual property, assets, likeness, like that kind of stuff right there definitely needs to be protected by some paperwork. That way you can go along with the mandated rules to go along with it, all right? But
and with that said, let me add this, is I do have an LLC. And my LLC, though, is something I really don't promote. The name of it is West Hampton, investments. And so those other businesses in the sense of today kind of fall up under that, which kind of creates that protection. You know what I'm saying? That's another avenue that people could take. And so it just varies, and don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not a financial advisor. But the way I really understand the process is, there's different ways to go about that whole protection.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so
So
yeah.
it's about doing your research. So
Yeah.
I definitely advocate that too. Do your research.
Yeah.
What we say definitely does not bottom line. See what works best for you, and that's with anything in life. All right. So we're definitely gonna keep it moving along, but that's the paperwork aspect of it. If I'm going to preach ownership here, and which is what I'm doing, and I choose to, paperwork. Just do the paperwork first. All right. Get you some limited liability corporation. That's what LLC stands for, and it's only about $100. Depending on what state you're in, just to have protection so you can start doing something. And then once you get to a level of a startup level, like my man said, over 25 grand, 35,000, if your business is worth that, then you can start thinking about other types of business. Cause my brother is doing, what did he say he was doing? S Corporation, I think. Yeah, so it's not C Corporation, but it's S Corporation. And at that level, you get to start like giving out benefits and stuff, paying employees and things of that nature. So that's something. If you want to go down that avenue, that's something to think about and to look into. But everyone definitely, we all can't go down that avenue.
Definitely. It's definitely levels to it. You know what I mean? And I think the key word, what you just said, was like, employees. And when you start talking about employee benefits, things like that, that's why things turn into a corporation. But also what comes with every level is more responsibility and reporting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so that's why I try to stress to people, like, I'm really an advocate of people starting with whatever they got. If they just got a great idea, then push it. You ain't got no whatever, push it to make it happen, but also be cognizant of that total process, that as you grow, you should be thinking about accomplishing all of these things, because at the end of the day, in order to be that Apple or to be that, Nike, they got their paperwork together. They got their lawyers, you know what I mean? And
them lawyers and them accountants.
And the right people that's running it. And so, and it's so real when you're thinking about building something and you believe in what you're trying to build. And I think the more you believe in it, the more you want to protect it, but never let it sway you away from pushing from whatever level you got or at. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the corner pushing flowers with no permit, push them.
I like that.
Survive.
That leads us to our next topic, which is going to be investments. After you get the paperwork, you have to invest in yourself. Like, invest time, money. Most of us have a 9-to-5 and a side hustle. Let's put all that money together that you got. The first thing we do is learn how much it costs to be us a month. That's one thing I think that a lot of people can start out with if they're trying to do finances on a personal level or a business level. Find out how much money you're spending a month and find out how much it costs to be you. That means your bills, your gas, your food,
right.
And these are all on your bank statements.
Right.
Once you figure out that number, you're gonna know exactly what number to reach. And some people get that number within a week or two. Right. You know what I'm saying? Literally. So they have more money than they actually think that they have to play with or to invest. Right. Is what we're preaching here. Right. So with that extra money that you have, you definitely need to go out there and invest into the paperwork that you just got. You wouldn't get paperwork just to let it sit. All right. So can you speak on some investment that you bought early on in your career when you knew that I won't have to buy something in order to make my dreams come true, or something to make my engine or this vehicle go a little bit faster?
Well, I think in the beginning, and when I say the beginning, for me, the true beginning of building my, say, record label was really in the mid 2000s, early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So around 2003, it was big for us to we just wanted to put out music. And so me as an artist that was, struggling and really struggling with more of the obstacles in the business, not necessarily with the craft itself. It was like me kind of assessing the situation and really being like, man, the process is really just go to the studio, make music, mix, master, put it out, go do shows, rinse, repeat. You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like we could do that. And I said all of that to say is the initial investment for me came in or went into that process. You know, we spent a significant amount of money just rinsing and repeating that process, and that included buying beats, buying studio time, or not even buying, investing in studio time and investing in beats in order to produce the songs. And so yeah, that between me and, like I said, with my record label, it started as a partnership. And so between me and my partner and an investor and some supporters, like, we put up a significant amount of money or invested a significant amount of money. And so, you know, that was a big investment right there, the early stages, yeah.
And it makes sense too, you know, if you're going on the music path, bro, if you don't make your own beats, you have to pay somebody. And don't be cheap about it. This is somebody's service, like, this is their occupation.
Man.
This is what they, like, it might not be their life, but this is their skill set, you know what I mean? So definitely got to pay for service. This is America, baby. When services are rendered, services are paid. You feel me? When services are paid, when services are rendered. That's
respect gang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that one being said, with me personally, with the investment portion, I began early. You know, I started the Indigo Management LLC back in 2018. I joined with somebody and we made Indigo Images, which was the videography production company. And we began to just invest in cameras first, because I had the ideology of, all right, because I was doing music with somebody, you know, I had an artist, and we were like, if we got to pay somebody to do music videos, which is the medium that everybody likes using now. Everybody wants a music video for their song, you know. If you got to pay somebody $500, $1,000, $1,500 to every, like, you killing your overhead as a business.
Man.
So if you really want to wear multiple hats, you just got to learn how to start doing stuff yourself.
Right.
And that's what we began to do in the beginning. So we invested in the cameras, we invested in the lights, and you know, I started off using a GoPro camera. Now I'm up to using a Canon M50. Not to mention I got a camcorder on the side recording everything as well. So it's all about levels, you know. Everybody's got to crawl before they walk, and you can't judge my year 3 from your 6 months, you know what I mean? Like, everybody got to put their time in, and they got to put that work in, you know?
Right.
The grind don't stop for nobody. But that being said, moving forward, let's talk about group economics. That's another part of ownership, and not to mention entrepreneurship, that a lot of people just aren't talking about heavily, because it involves thinking about somebody else before you think about yourself. But in actuality, how business works is you're gonna have to scratch somebody else's back before they scratch yours anyway. You know, I can recall where I bought something from somebody or purchased a service from somebody, and them not purchasing a service from me or items from me, and me feeling some kind of way about it. I can remember that. But at the same time, it's not about that. It's about you still putting in 120% every day into your craft, into your brand, because eventually you're gonna make something that somebody's gonna love, and you ain't gonna just sell one, you're gonna sell 1,000, and at that point you're gonna have a different feeling about it, you know. So can you talk about some group economics and some people that you helped along the way, or something that you could say that you people have helped you with, you know, on a group economics tip, you know, like literally somebody knowing that you need this service to help your artistry get to a new level, or you helping somebody with a venue. So speak on that, brother.
Well, first and foremost, somebody that helped me was, you know, my rap cohort E-Dog up there in Seattle. Shout out to E-Dog. And when we did Drop Top back in 1993, I was like literally staying on his couch. So that's and what came to fruition out of that was the song Drop Top and Little Loc. So that's a basic example of group economics right there.
What
you feel me?
on?
Something
Drop Tops and what?
Man, that's on Seattle the Dark Side. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, check that out.
Check that out. Yeah, I was just gonna say
that go way back. But yeah, moving forward, I never forgot that. You know, so when I built, or me and my rap partner back then, P.O. the Prophet, in the early 2000s, when we built Streetwire Music, that was kind of the thing, is we were struggling artists, and so it was like, that was my vision in a sense, is I wanted to be like a launch pad for artists. I knew I didn't have enough money to, you know, make somebody platinum. You know what I'm saying? Because it take a lot of money to invest in that. But I also knew that I knew enough to provide the basics. And so along that route of producing our albums, you know, it would be dudes to come through the studio and sit there for a few hours, and maybe they jump in the booth and record one of their songs. You know what I'm saying? And that don't seem like a lot, but it is a lot to a person that can't afford to spend that $35 an hour. You know what I'm saying, for those 2 hours. And so it was a lot of times to where we threw cat studio time or let them kind of, you know what I'm saying, perform under our dime. Right. You feel me? And it wasn't no harsh feelings, or it'll never be no harsh feelings, because that was part of that intention, was to help people launch from whatever level they was at. You know what I'm saying? And I think we was able to do that. And I'm happy and proud that we were able to do that, because that's what's missing now, is a little bit of that love. You feel me? Yeah, everybody want to make the money, but don't nobody want to spread the money out. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what really creates an industry, when the money is moving. You know, when it's in motion. Yeah, when the money is circulating, not when it's sitting in one or two people's hands. And so, you know, that's what creates an economy, is, you know, and so, you know, and it's dope, because people were able to benefit from those things, whether that gave them a little bit more exposure to get seen by a certain person that might have approached them about putting together an album and throwing that out, or whether it brought attention to what they were doing, the fact that they were featured on one of our songs, but that was our dime that paid for that. You know what I'm saying? And so going back to the group economics thing, I think that's one of the basics about it, and it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? When you really loving what you do, and you just want to see people make music and fulfill their dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you love it? I'm talking about somebody helped him, and then he helped somebody else, and that's just the cycle of life. That's the way it goes. Once you help somebody, you got to keep helping somebody. All right? The fact that you might not get the instant karma back right now, but that's the beauty of it. The fact that you're in the blessing. That's why I told somebody the other day, like, you know what's beautiful about being a blessing to somebody? You're in the blessing every time. Like, you're part of the blessing, and you're intentionally and deliberately being a blessing to somebody. That's tough, bro. That's tough.
Actually, it's nothing. It's nothing when your heart is in it, when that's how you're moving. But it is tough when you get in the opposite back,
and your mind having shifted from that business or 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship. Because when you're an entrepreneurship, when you're into entrepreneurship, you're gonna have to give. Just get ready. You're gonna get your time. You're gonna get your resources, your assets. Like, something to get given away every single time. So for the most part, I respect what you said about group economics, brother. For me personally, I would have to pay homage to E. You know, shout out to Eclipse. You know, EKLIPSC, and he's the one who really taught me about actual ownership itself, and having to, like, you take care of this yourself. I remember him like, he's like, "You're my manager," and I'm like, "What do you mean? I never managed an artist a day in my life." He's like, "I don't know. Figure it out. You got a degree. I think that you'd be good for this.
Bingo.
Just figure it out."
Bingo. You figured out school.
Right? Did we not figure school out when our parents just dropped us off and it was like, man, what we do here? We got to stay here. Ain't nobody harming me, but I'm taken care of.
Right.
So I really appreciate what the WTF Records movement have done for me as well, helping with the Indigo Images. That's how I was able to get the group economics going, and how I plan to spread more group economics when I get back to the South. You know, I plan on moving back to the South region here pretty soon. I'm gonna help out my people who I know for a fact need videography and production, because that's where the excuse lies with a lot of people. I can't get my business started because of this, or I can't do certain things that you're doing because of this. But this is the reason I built a videography production company, to eliminate all the excuses. And there ain't nothing left but work.
Right.
Once you eliminate all the excuses, ain't nothing but work. And that's what most people have a hard time dealing with in reality. Looking in the mirror, actually putting in the grind work, you know. And with that being said, we're going to transition into time management. Time management is the fourth step that I incorporate on the road to ownership and entrepreneurship. It's literally the one asset you can't get back, y'all. I'm telling you. Like, everybody thinks money is this. Everybody thinks knowing somebody and networking is this. But time, like, that last like even us being on this podcast for the last 20 minutes, we can't get it back, but we were able to create something.
Man.
Realize that everybody has the same 24 hours. Realize that also what you do in those 24 hours matters. Because some people think that they just have to kill time.
Right.
And you're going to kill time, I'm going to build the internet. No, that's backwards thinking.
Right.
You already spend enough time at your 9-to-5 job. You don't want to be at home doing the same thing, killing time, thinking that it's like, that's not even fun. I know it's not sexy to put the groundwork in as well with podcasts and building your brand up and day by day building stuff and not selling. But when you build it from the ground up and you get it out the mud, you really don't have to ask anybody for something. Somebody once told me that if you give somebody a castle as opposed to a man building his own castle, it's not the same. The value is different. If a window breaks in that castle, the man who built his castle can go fix the window. The man who actually was given the castle doesn't know the structure of the building or the blueprint, and he has to get external help. You feel me? And that's a huge lesson in business and relationships. Talk about some time management that you had to succumb to, brother, for your how do I want to address this? For your business, which is AO, and for your brand, because that's two different things. Your brand and what you stand for. How are you able to manage time?
Well, first of all, I'm one of them people that say it all of the time. I don't go to sleep, I fall asleep.
I like that.
You feel me?
You work so hard that his body says it's time to go to sleep.
Bingo, because that's how much I got for every day. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And don't get it twisted. Like, I'll sit on the couch and I'll rest up, but I'm an artist and I'm a creator. So even when you think I look like I'm resting up, I'm not really. You know what I'm saying? And then you add the business aspect in there. So even if I'm watching TV, I'm looking at commercials like, man, how can I create this commercial for my business? That's how my mind functions. So am I really chilling? You know what I'm saying? And so, that speaks to the whole, man, taking advantage of every second. And it's another reason why I try not to have, man, a lot of frivolous conversations is because it's kind of like, man, there's so many great things to talk about and so many ways to talk to each other and build and add love and productivity to it, whatever you're doing in life. You know what I'm saying? You could be doing dead wrong, but if you ain't talking about nothing and doing nothing, you just going to be doing dead wrong. Mm-hmm. You feel me? As opposed to maybe being prosperous, doing dead wrong, at least for a short time.
That's that killing time mentality.
You feel me? So,
what I mean?
Yeah, you got to use your time wisely. And so with me, and another thing, I think the reason I'm kind of like that is because quite naturally, just from my life, I don't really feel like I lost time, because even the time where I was sitting down, maybe doing time, you feel me? Like, I tried my best to be as productive as possible based on the tools that was around me. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, even sitting in a cell, man, you can die in a cell or you can live in a cell. I guess that's the best way to say it. You feel me?
I like that too, bro.
And that's why it's people in there that's living harder and living more than some people out here. Because they understand that time management, and they're creating great things with that 24 hours that they were sentenced to do every day. You know what I'm saying? And so that's
tough.
Man, it's tough. It is tough, but it lets you know, man, that's that redemption. And so no matter what you do, if you got some more time, it's about what you do with what you got left.
And that's why a lot of our brothers and sisters who come out are so passionate about certain things, because they realize how much time they've wasted.
Man.
And they realize what other people are doing to waste their time. And they're like, listen, I don't know what you're doing. It's time to get on the ball and do this way. Man. So I really appreciate time management, and how it has helped me is I've been routine throughout my entire life, and I didn't even know I was managing time.
Man,
ever since I can remember at least 5 or 6. My mom, my dad, they would get me up. We would do chores and stuff before school. Like, I'm up every day, even still now, 5:36. You know, I gotta get up.
Yeah.
My body is telling me to get up.
Yeah.
And when my eyes are woke, there's no way I'm going back to sleep.
Right.
But with that being said, I developed that discipline throughout my entire life and throughout football and even going to school, having that structure of that itinerary.
Yeah.
You know, an itinerary is really important. People who don't really think so, think again, okay?
Yeah.
I need you to really go out there and know what you're gonna do in the 24 hours that you have.
Man.
Because even if we can't plan for the weekend or we can't say, okay, tomorrow's not promised, if you wake up, you know you got 24. As long as you're being safe, all right? Let's put it that way. Don't be out there doing unsafe stuff. But when you wake up, you know you got 24, baby. You gotta give it all you got. You gotta give 120. In the words of E.T. the hip hop preacher, 120 to the day I die.
Man.
You feel me?
Man.
And that's the kind of energy I'm trying to be around. With that being said, man, I'm Indigo. I like to work with people who give 120. This is why I work with my man Rich Tycoon. He be giving 120, man. The proof's in the pudding. The catalog, the websites, you know, the social proof as well. This is what needs to happen. You know, it's all got to be congruent with each other.
Man.
You know, E.T. said one time too. Shout out to E.T. the hip hop preacher. You ain't gonna beat me on. I mean, you might beat me with money or something, but you're not gonna beat me on all fronts.
Man.
You know, some people are only good at one thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be good with my family. I don't have any kids, but if I did, I'd be good with my kids. I'd be good with my job,
Man.
my entrepreneurship, my relationship with other people. Like, this is what needs to happen. You got all these things have to happen together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in order for your life to have that fulfillment, you know, and you have that inner peace.
Right.
And that's what I like speaking on a lot, because everything really is spiritual in nature.
Right.
Just like this podcast.
Right.
Everything coming from this realm of existence will be spiritual in nature. I'm Indigo. We about to get up out of here, but before we do, go ahead and plug yourself in again, brother. I really enjoy having you around, you know what I'm saying, the podcast.
I appreciate you having me. Y'all know what it is, and if you don't, it's richtycoon.biz. That's where everything is. richtycoon.biz. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channel, all of that is posted at richtycoon.biz. Shout out to Indigo, man. It's a real good brother, man.
I really appreciate that. So before we get up out of here, y'all already know, namaste, man. Hit me up on the website, www.indigokid87.com. All right, everything coming from that realm of existence is definitely spiritual. Watch for the clothing brand and the photography, the videography to start increasing. You know, because I think London J said it. You know, something about from the A-Town. I'm getting back in my bag. You hear me? It's time to get back in my bag, man, for
That's
sure.
right.
I've been gone too long, and I feel like now it's the time to emerge again. And who better to do it with good friends like you? And I appreciate you coming through.
It's all good,
Straight up
man.
and
Thank
down.
you very much.
You know what time it is? We out of here. This has been a Pop-Up Podcast Experience, all right? Knowledge is the new money. Shout out again to E.T. the hip hop preacher. Knowledge is the new money.
Man.
Go get you some, all right?
Man.
Go get you some of this knowledge, dog. Reading is cool. Make it cool again, all right? I'm Indigo, Rich Tycoon. We out of here like last week,